Welcome to the This Mum Loves Tech podcast, the go-to show for female business owners who want to simplify tech and get the support they need to grow their online businesses with confidence. I'm Nicola Walsh, your podcast host. I'm also a mum to two cheeky boys and I love tech, so you don't have to. I'm here to share actionable tips, tools and strategies that will help you streamline your business and make the tech work for you. So whether you're watching after the kids have gone to bed or listening while on the school run, let's dive into today's episode and make tech that little bit easier. Hi everyone and welcome to another edition of This Mum Loves Tech. I'm really excited because today I am joined by Sarah Jane Adams, who is a business mentor, and she's going to be talking about her journey with email marketing. She's gone on a bit of a journey, let's just say, over the last couple of months. So I kind of brought her on to share what's been happening. But first of all, Sarah Jane, welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's a joy to be here.
Let's just start off by just telling a little bit about you and what it is that you do, and just so people can get to know you a little bit more.
Thank you. So yes, my name is Sarah Jane. I've been in business this is my 7th year. As you mentioned, I'm a business mentor. What does that mean? That means I help people to support and grow not only their dream business, but actually for that business to support a life that they love living. I was at a real changing point where I knew I was incredibly reluctant to embrace tech. And I knew I had to do it for the last few years, and I kind of pulled away from it. And we had a chat, didn't we, at some point the last quarter of last year, and I knew that you were the right person that was going to be able to help me.
Oh yeah, no, it was. It was. I think it was like November time, and you were saying that you were going for a rebrand and changing a lot of things up within your business, and you were like, it's finally the time to get on board with the tech because yeah, it's not always it's one of those things that as online business owners that we have to do, but unless you're me, don't always love doing it.
Yeah, well, and everyone used to laugh at me because they say, you used to work in marketing and business development in the corporate world. Why are you not behind the email marketing? And genuinely, it wasn't until someone said to me, your email list is one of the most valuable assets your business owns, that I thought, Sarah Jane, you need to find a way to make this work that feels right for you, but you need to find a way to make this work.
Yeah, and as we were chatting, it just so happened that I think the next week I was launching the next group of my Launch Your Lead Magnet using MailerLite course, which you then did join. So tell us a little bit about, before we get into the course and kind of your experience with it. I'd love to talk a little bit more about that reluctance to email marketing. Like, what were the main things that were stopping you from doing it?
That's quite easy for me, and that is we all get bombarded all the time with emails, or actually comms as a whole, right? But from an email point of view, and of feeling quite bothered, but just constantly being interrupted by email. And I thought, I don't want to be clumped in with that group. I was concerned that I wouldn't be sharing stuff of value to the people that I was sending it to. But as it turns out, that was kind of my stuff to uncover in terms of understanding what people want to receive, but also just my inability to really understand what the process looked and felt like and how I could make it work.
Yeah, I mean, I do remember us having that conversation. He was like, I don't want to annoy people with the emails. And I think I made the point to you at that point. I was like, people can just unsubscribe.
Yeah.
It is in their power to not hear from you if they don't want to, but they're opting in, they're choosing to hear from you because, like, with email marketing and with the GDPR and all that around it, you can't just send people emails. They have to opt in to receive those emails. And then they also need to be able to unsubscribe really easily, just with like one click, so they can then stop receiving those emails if they want to. And obviously it's up to us in our email content to make it something that is interesting and that people therefore want to open and want to stay on to hear about. And I think it was a bit of a, like you said, a mindset thing with you to just realize that you're sharing all this valuable knowledge on social media and everywhere else, that you could just share the same stuff on your email.
Yeah. But like you said at the top, it came at a perfect time for me because I'd rebranded. Everything was kind of coming new. I was really having a deep look at how I was working, really changing and pivoting how I wanted to work, evolving the business, evolving how I supported my clients and my clients of the future. And actually being able to get in front of them in that way. I was getting fed up. I'd be getting disillusioned with social media and constantly fighting the algorithm. And I thought I'm putting some good tips out, and I knew I was because people were saying, "Esho, this is good stuff," but I couldn't control over whether they got it or not. And you said to me, "But you can control it. You send them an email."
Yeah, exactly. Because the open rate of an email is typically around 50%, whereas the engagement rate on a social media post is only around 5-6%. Well, for me, from even my like most popular posts, if you do the kind of sums around it, it's only at about 5-6%, whereas a typical open rate is about 40-50%. But if you've got like really engaged people on your email list, like some of my emails get 80-90% open rate because those particular set of people really want to know what's on those emails.
Yeah, and I think as well for me, it was about just understanding what I could do with the email marketing, which I'll tell you a bit about in a minute about kind of what elements of the course were really helpful, but that then allowed me to re-strategize of the content I was putting out there and on what platforms. And so again, that made me feel comfortable what I was sharing and when and how.
So before we get on to the course in more detail and kind of what it has done for you, where were you in terms of before email marketing and after? Like if you could just kind of summarize what you were offering people beforehand and what you're now being able to offer them.
So before I was very sporadically pushing out, well, for first content online, I kind of fell in and out of love with social media because of that algorithm. So that was intermittent. And then I was basically networking and it was all word of mouth and kind of, setting the time aside for kind of virtual coffees and in-person coffees. But now it has given me the capability, like I said, to sit down and go, right, this is what my social media is purely now for the know, like, and trust, people to get to know me. I'm a massive believer in everyone buys people because they like them, they connect with them. There is something that there is that bit there. But my email stuff, that is now giving me a huge platform to serve people with timely tips that actually really make a difference to their business, whilst allowing me to push lots of different ways of working. So I've done something which didn't quite pan out, which is okay, about trying to launch a weekly Q&A session. I'm literally launching this week. I've wrote a book, Bringing Human Back, that was published in 2020, and I'm bringing that to life online. And that's coming out this week. People on my email list will hear about that. I've got some really kind of super, like the best tips that I've ever shared on social media. Again, I can repurpose it and make sure people get that. And I know that they're getting it. And it was a bit like when people said, why did you write a book? And I said, well, it definitely wasn't to say that I've written a book. It was always that if I could help one person, then job done. And it's the same with this. And that's what email marketing has allowed me to do, to share stuff. And it's so wonderful now. I share a weekly newsletter with these tips I might have mentioned, and I get so many emails back saying this has dropped at a really, pertinent time. It's really helped me. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Wonderful. And again, it just layers into that business, layers into people, being able to get into your head, see what you could bring them, and then allow, put them on a journey as to whether they want to work with me in a more robust way.
Yeah, I love your emails because you have like a video tip because you're very much getting on camera. You like getting on camera and sharing your tips that way rather than writing them. And you realize you didn't have to stop doing that. You could still deliver it via an email, but they could actually watch the tip rather than it just being all written out. And I think that was another thing you kind of realized as well, that you just because it's being delivered by email doesn't mean you have to change how you deliver it.
Or change who I am in delivering it. Yeah, yeah, exactly that. I think it's always, and I think my book is a testament to that. I like to be as practical and therefore use as little of people time as little of people's times as possible. So for me, the tip is they're always really short emails because I want to be able to someone go, "Oh, yeah, 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 da, 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 3 tips, da, da, da," and I get that I'm gone, and not take up. And that's how I found that happy medium and not feeling like I was pestering people. Is that I know I'm sharing stuff of use, and I know I'm not taking up too much. They've not got to work too hard, so either they can choose to read it or view it in order to get that information.
Yeah, yeah, that's brilliant. And I think you mentioned it a few times in what you've been saying. It's making it work for you. Like
It's all about that, isn't it, though? Yeah.
there's kind of the kind of set background mechanics of it that work the same for everybody, but the actual deliverability and what is in the content of those emails is very personal to you, and you can deliver it however you feel best doing it.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see some of my videos. Sometimes I look more professionally dressed than others, but that's how I want to show up as the real me. The one that went out today, I had a hat on, and like, but that was it was something that came to me, and I filmed it and shared it as is. So it's really real.
Oh yeah, excellent. So yeah, you did the launch your lead magnet using MailerLite course in January, and it went on for 6 weeks. So can you tell us a bit about your experience over the 6 weeks? Because you didn't get off to the smoothest start, let's just say that.
No, and because I was going through all the changes that we've talked about, a lot of stuff wasn't quite ready. So my brand hadn't been finalized. I was getting some brand photos done. I hadn't got those through. And there was a few things that I was just waiting on. And so for the first few weeks, I've massively felt like I was kind of dropping back, dropping back. And I really had to kind of sit with it and say, no, Sarah Jane, it was a wonderful group of women, where it was a safe space to say, whether I'm not understanding this or I feel behind. And that was key for me. I think if that space wasn't held as well as you held it, I think you'd have dropped out. People, I would have dropped out because I would have just felt like I was falling behind, and actually I didn't feel comfortable saying that. And that was never a case with that at all. It was such an honest space to really be like, okay, this is what I want to do, but this is where I am now, and not having any shame, not feeling fearful of being judged at all. And the real special skill that you have is, even though you've got all of this amazing knowledge, and when people have that, they forget what it feels like not to have it. You don't, like, so you very easily take someone back to the starting point and build those blocks, and therefore build their confidence. And that then empowers them to understand what they're doing, to understand how they can do it, and understand a way or plan a way that is going to do that they can do it that is true to them, like I have. And that is really quite special.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, one of the key things is I've done so many courses, and the reason why I kind of set up this course the way that I have is that I've seen so many courses where they're just like, you need to get your email marketing up and running, because it's just a known thing that, as we've spoken about, as we've been doing this talk about how, it takes people for social media, you can nurture people more your way. And so people know that they need it, but actually getting started with it can be quite overwhelming, because there are quite a few different steps to it to get it to work properly. And I think I wanted to do it slowly so that people really understood how it works, because actually once you understand how it all works to get and puts together, you can repeat it and do it again. Because often one of the things I say to all the ladies is, when you do put that first lead magnet out there, there's no guarantee it's even going to work. So by understanding how it goes together, you could then try it again with another one. And I already know one of the ladies from your group has put out another one because her first one didn't get the response she was hoping. From feedback, she's now put together something that she feels is more beneficial. But it's knowing you've got those core skills, that you've understood those core skills, that it didn't just happen really quickly and you lost how it went together. You can then go back and do it again yourself. And the only way to be able to achieve that is to keep the groups small. So I keep the groups at a maximum of 15. I mean, there wasn't that many ladies in your group in the January one, but it's so that I can go around to everyone and make sure people, like you said, you felt like you were falling behind, and then we talked through where you actually were, and you realized that there were some bits that you had done that others hadn't. You just hadn't quite done them in the same order as maybe the course structure was going through. So we looked at, well, what can you do while you're waiting for this bit to happen? And that made you then feel like you weren't stopping and falling behind because you could work on something else.
Yeah, and you really gave that one-to-one support, and you took the time to understand how each individual was feeling, where they were, and help them to move them forward, and like breaking that down, because it's completely overwhelming. You know, I'd said to you before, when we spoke in the November, or before I signed up, I was paying for something to help me with my email marketing. It was an online platform. It was costing me about £65 a month. And the content on there was great, but what was it missing? It was missing the hand holding. It was missing someone making it real for me. So actually, I enacted what I was being taught, because most people don't learn from just reading. You know, they need someone to show them how. And there were so many intricacies at the start. There were so many times where I thought, my God, I just wouldn't have got it off the ground had it not been for you.
Oh, thank you. That's so lovely to know that this, because that is what I wanted to get out of the course was that support, because like I said, there are some quite techie bits to getting that initial domain authentication sorted out, because there's no point having a lovely lead magnet if it's not actually going to get in anyone's inboxes.
Yeah.
So, you know, and some of that, it does get quite complicated, especially if it doesn't work the first time. You've then got to do a bit of an investigating into why isn't it working. And I know we went through that with a few of the ladies, because, you know, for various reasons, things weren't approving or, you know, connecting together. And you need someone there that can troubleshoot it with you, otherwise you just stare at it.
Yeah, it's just, and because to you, you've seen those challenges before, so you can see a way through. And I think it massively, my lack of knowledge with tech completely stymied my creativity in business, because I knew what I wanted to do, but because I didn't know how to do it, I'd kind of, and I'm all about making your dreams a reality, but actually my own dreams were being held back by me not empowering myself with understanding the tech. And I'm going to hold my hands up. I learned how to do it. It was great. And now I've got the most incredible VA, Lizzie Harwood, that helps me now do it. But I needed to understand how to do it myself, so I could then understand how I wanted to work it, and to give direction to somebody else as what I wanted that end product to be. And you'll be so proud of me, Nicola. I've got my getting to know you sequence out. I'm setting up another one. I mean, it's all go.
Oh, I love that. What would you say was the turning point in those 6 weeks? Because I can't remember what week it was, but there was a week and you just came to the call and you just had this whole different thought on it.
Yeah, I think, because I think like it didn't help. I think Annabelle was really ill on the second week and I wasn't feeling well. And then I think on the third week I was away for my birthday. But I think the turning point was me saying and feeling safe enough to say, I really feel behind here, and I feel like actually, my words were, I feel like I'm holding everyone back, and actually everyone kind of pretty much felt the same, you know, in a slightly different way. And it allowed me to just be like, okay, everyone is on their own journey, and everyone had their own challenges, and that's okay. We'll see a way through it together. And I think that was a real turning point, being able to say I'm struggling and I'm not enjoying it. I'm not enjoying it because I feel like I'm holding everyone back.
Yeah, and then that realization, like you said, that everyone was having their own struggles with different parts, like things that obviously with your business mentoring background that were like finding easier, they were then struggling with some of those other bits that you could then help give them to support. And we had a lady that was a copywriter in the group, so then she was able to give some like actual wording support. Getting to know the ladies that were in your group meant that you could use all your different strengths to help each other, which was again really nice as well. Not just me there for the tech knowledge as well, you were all helping each other.
Yeah, and feeling like you're not alone, especially in business, is priceless.
Yeah, definitely. So you gave a little bit of a hint, you know, you obviously I love the fact that you've got to the point where you have now passed this on to a VA to look after for you. And I think that is brilliant that you took the knowledge in that you needed, you worked out how it was going to work for you so that then you were able to pass it on to somebody else. So tell us a little bit more about like what does Sarah Jane look like now, like as a business? What have you been able to implement since you've done the course?
Like, really, it makes me quite emotional because it really feels like all all challenges, all barriers have completely been lifted. So I have, like, every night now, and I've not been a night working at night for a long time. After my daughter goes to sleep, I'm up kind of brainstorming. And the difference is that I know I can create that. I know I can make that. I can make that happen. I can serve my clients. I can get these messages out there. So like I said, it's really given me the confidence. I invested in Thrivecart to do online programs. I've always been very much kind of one-to-one, but kind of group stuff. Having the direct experience of that beautiful group sanctuary, safe place. I'm now going to be launching a group version of my kind of 12-month mentoring. It is just opened my mind and the potential just so exponentially. It's quite hard to articulate. And like I said, it's such a beautiful place to be, to kind of feel like just limitless. And I know that being able to communicate and contact with people on this basis and using these, because it's not just emails you help with, it's all of the supporting systems that roll around it. So it was like getting my online calendar sorted. So I'm not faffing around trying to take it ages to get people booked in, and it's really quick and easy. It was getting on Thrivecart. I can't remember some of the others, but it's not just, it's not just emails. It's everything that supports and makes it work around it and makes it easier for you. That's the thing. It's yeah. It felt like an impenetrable world before, and you've made me actually feel like I understand it, and I never thought I'd say that.
Yeah, you've tamed the tech.
I don't, well, I mean, I don't know if I'll ever be able to say that, but yeah, I get it. I understand the links. With Zapier, and it wasn't just one thing. And I think that's what you get a lot of, and my bugbear in kind of what it was one element. It was everything that supported you and your business to getting it to where you wanted it to, from a tech point of view, from an email point of view, from an online point of view. And you just handheld that process beautifully.
Oh, that's amazing. With the emails, it is about understanding that process. And like I said, a lot of things I've done before, they just concentrate, get your email list out, get a freebie out. But it's actually all those other little bits that connect to make it actually work for you and your business. Like one of the ladies who's done the course, she was like, a PDF's just not going to work for me. So I was like, well, can you do a video then? And she was just like, oh yeah, like I do videos all the time. So it was just, there's these ideas of how it works, but actually you've got to apply it to make it work for you, and make all those different parts of your business work for you, because the whole point of tech is to make things easier, not harder.
Exactly that. And that is the shift you create in the people that come and work with you. And that was a huge shift for me. But that is what you've enabled.
Oh, that's so lovely. And I'm so excited to see the things you've got coming up. So tell us a bit more about what is coming up next for
So
you.
something I'm launching this week, which I'm really excited about. So I mentioned I wrote a book, and using Thrivecart as a platform, I am going to go. So it's going to be a 16-week, got 16 chapters every Tuesday lunchtime. I'm doing a beta program. So for 10 people, where I get on and physically talk through the chapters. My book is very short. It's all about bringing in case studies. It's all about making people do kind of tasks and really, again, making it real so they can take it away and get it working for their business. But it's for people that are either really, really new to business, or they've got a side hustle, they want to make their main hustle, or they're still employed, but they're like, but they've got something that I need to pursue, something I need to try and find the confidence to start my own business. So it's completely targeted at those people. So it's 16 weeks, in a quarter, get your business up and running. And it's like I'm doing it half price of 650 quid. The lives will be on Thrivecart for a year. And the Q&A, if people do join on the lives, they'll have access to me. I like the wonderful Q&As you do, where people can ask me questions about stuff that may come up in that session. So I'm really, really excited about that. And even though the one-to-one stuff is still very much there and running along a 12-month basis, or kind of focus sessions around pricing, around your purpose, I'm excited about doing the group stuff now. And so that's my big thing. So if you or you know anyone that kind of fits that bill, then give me a shout and nab one of those spots.
So where can they find out about that? What's the best way of getting in contact with you?
So my Instagram handle is at I am Sarah Jane Adams. It will be on there, and then you could sign up to my weekly wisdom, and you will get an email about it very shortly, as well as my weekly wisdom every Tuesday. It will be on my website very soon. So you're going to hear a lot about it. It's starting on the 29th of April, running through to the 19th of August. Yeah, and I'm really excited about it. I've got a lot of people that are really interested. So yeah, I'm super inspired.
Oh, and I love it. I just love the fact that this has all come from the knowledge that you have now learned, that
Yeah.
you can now put this together and put it out into the world and help so many more people.
Yeah, like have the form so people can show an interest, and have a landing page so to give them a little bit more information, and then how you can convert that into a web page, how an emailer from that, like just crazy. And everything else that supports around it to kind of get that messaging out there so people hear it. And yeah, it gets in front of the people that need it most.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you so much, Sarah Jane, for joining me today and yeah, sharing a bit about what it is that you do and how empowering yourself with the knowledge of email marketing and how it works has opened so many more doors for you and your business.
It has massively. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Oh, and thank you. And I hope you all will join me for the next episode of This Mum Loves Tech.